Welcome to Financial Flipside. Welcome, dear viewers, to a captivating exploration of a unique investment opportunity that could potentially rival the groundbreaking success of Tesla. In a recent interview with Bloomberg, the renowned investor Cathie Wood shared her insights, predicting that the next major breakthrough, akin to Tesla's meteoric rise, will emerge from the genomics sector. Specifically, Wood emphasized the immense potential of companies involved in CRISPR gene editing technology. We all know that Tesla has been a major contributor to the returns we've seen over the past 5 years. It's been quite the ride. However, when we cast our eyes toward the horizon, according to Cathie, there are some current investments that she thinks hold the promise of delivering substantial gains in the next half-decade. Of course, Tesla is still a contender, but she'd like to offer a different viewpoint. She believes that the most remarkable potential for upside lies within the field of genomics. This is an incredibly exciting domain where the worlds of DNA sequencing, artificial intelligence, and gene therapies, particularly the groundbreaking CRISPR gene editing technology, are converging. And the most remarkable part? We're talking about the possibility of curing diseases. Imagine this. We are now at the intersection of real science and cutting-edge technology. We're peering into our genomic profiles, spotting mutations that could indicate the earliest stages of diseases. And here's where it gets truly exciting. Thanks to the synergy of artificial intelligence and gene editing, we have the capacity not only to predict diseases, but potentially eradicate them. Consider conditions like beta-thalassemia, sickle cell disease, and yes, even diabetes, which represents a substantial portion of healthcare expenditures. These diseases might soon meet their match. In this video, we'll delve into the exciting world of genomics, focusing on CRISPR technology, and uncover the companies poised to make significant strides in this field. While we could simply invest in a genomics exchange-traded fund, or ETF, we'll discover why identifying and investing in specific undervalued companies within the sector might offer even greater potential returns. So, let's explore this fascinating realm further and take a different perspective on the potential investment opportunities it presents. CRISPR Therapeutics, leading the genomic revolution. CRISPR Therapeutics, a pioneering gene editing company founded in 2013, has become a frontrunner in the development and application of CRISPR-Cas9 for therapeutic purposes. With a market capitalization of just $12 billion, CRISPR Therapeutics is trading at an enticing valuation when compared to its colossal potential in a market estimated to be worth $2 trillion. One of the most promising aspects of CRISPR Therapeutics is its recent groundbreaking data on a CTX1 treatment, specifically targeting transfusion-dependent beta-thalassemia. The results revealed up to 80% gene modification with no evidence of off-target editing, a significant milestone in addressing monogenic diseases. CRISPR Therapeutics currently boasts a diverse pipeline of 9 product candidates, spanning various disease areas, including sickle cell disease, immuno-oncology, HIV, and regenerative conditions. With a pressing need to combat these diseases globally, the company's positive trial results and substantial cash position of $1 billion make it a strong contender for delivering substantial returns to investors. Additionally, institutional investors have exhibited tremendous confidence in CRISPR Therapeutics, with their ownership of nearly 70% of the company's market cap serving as a compelling indication of its potential. PacBio, revolutionizing genomics sequencing. Pacific Biosciences of California Inc., often referred to as PacBio, stands at the forefront of the genomics sequencing revolution. As the #1 holding company in the ARC Genomic Revolution Fund, PacBio has already made significant strides in the field of single-molecule real-time sequencing technology. PacBio's cutting-edge technology allows for single-molecule real-time detection of biological processes, paving the way for more accurate genomics sequencing. While PacBio's products may come at a slightly higher cost, they offer superior sequencing results, a feature that is poised to gain market share as costs continue to decrease. Currently trading at around $28 with a market capitalization of $5.3 billion, PacBio's valuation appears attractive, especially considering its potential to capture a substantial share of the genomic sequencing market. With the cost of genomic sequencing expected to drop significantly in the coming years, PacBio could see exponential growth. Longview Acquisition Corp. And Butterfly Network, a medical tech disruptor. Longview Acquisition Corp. Is set to merge with Butterfly Network, a medical tech disruptor on a mission to revolutionize ultrasound technology. Under the visionary leadership of Cathie Wood, ARK Invest recognized the potential of this merger early on. Butterfly Network offers handheld ultrasound devices that simplify the process, making it accessible to a broader audience. The global market for such devices is enormous, encompassing millions of medical professionals and chronic patients. Additionally, Butterfly Network operates on a subscription-based model, generating revenue from software upgrades and database maintenance. Notably, Butterfly Network has already achieved $44 million in sales in the current year. As the software revenue component is expected to grow significantly, the company's valuation seems quite reasonable when compared to other software-as-a-subscription services and disruptive tech companies. Longview Acquisition Corp., currently trading near $21, is a promising investment, especially given ARK Invest's consistent buying activity. The merger between Longview and Butterfly Network was completed in the first quarter of 2021, becoming an opportune moment for investors to consider this innovative healthcare disruptor. As we embark on this journey into the genomics frontier, it's essential to recognize the immense potential that lies within the CRISPR gene editing technology and the broader genomics sector. Companies like CRISPR Therapeutics, Pacific Biosciences of California Inc., or PacBio, and Butterfly Network are poised to transform the landscape of healthcare, offering groundbreaking solutions to address monogenic diseases and revolutionizing genomic sequencing and medical imaging. While ETFs provide diversified exposure to the genomics sector, identifying specific companies with strong growth potential can yield even more significant returns. Cathie Wood's forward-thinking approach and her investments in these companies highlight the extraordinary possibilities within the genomics revolution. As we move into the future, the convergence of science, technology, and healthcare promises to reshape our understanding of genetics and disease. The companies discussed here represent the vanguard of this revolution, and investing in them may offer the potential for remarkable financial rewards while contributing to the betterment of human health and well-being. So, whether you choose to invest in an ETF or explore individual companies, remember that the genomics sector holds the key to a future where diseases are not just treated, but cured at their roots. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and share this video. To be more knowledgeable about financial topics, make sure to subscribe to Financial Flipside and hit the notification bell to get alerted when new videos are posted.